What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be real with you guys. If you do not enjoy Arc Raiders, that's completely fair. I have nothing against that. You know, everybody is entitled to their own opinions. Some people enjoy games, others do not. Like me personally, I think the finals is, an interesting game, but it doesn't really completely go up my lane when it comes to shooters. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad, but that's just my personal opinion. But some people are literally out to just demolish Embark's reputation for absolutely no reason. I don't know why, but ladies and gentlemen, seriously, Embark has come out with some more information for Arc Raiders, and it continuously proves why they are an absolutely goated development team. And to me personally, they don't even deserve any of the hate. As I stated, you can hate the game, but to crap on Embark for what they're producing here and how, friendly they are to their community is just mind-boggling to me. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive on deep, I do want to showcase to you guys some statistics that Embark went ahead and released about the server slam session we had within Arc Raiders. And I gotta be real, it's looking pretty dang juicy, as you can see right here. Rounds played, 30 million. Deadliest Arc, the Rocketeer. No shocker there, that thing was absolutely menacing. Players knocked down by the Rocketeer, 2,356,295. That is insane. I barely even wanted to mess with that thing. I don't know why so many of you guys out there were pushing your luck with that bad boy. But hey, it is what it is. Some people got some nuts, I'll tell you that much. Over 96,000 recorders found. I'm jealous because I did not get to find one. 2,669 raiders knocked down while playing the recorder. Most crafted weapon, the Pharaoh. And honestly, that doesn't really shock me at all. I feel like the Pharaoh is one of the most reliable weapons for a low level in that game. It could take down Arc pretty reliably. Go ahead and hit a player and you actually feel like you did a little impact, so you can probably change the tides of battle if you can get first shot off, so I can see that being realistic. Queens eliminated only 77, ladies and gentlemen. I'm shocked that this community even went ahead and eliminated that many, especially with the type of loot that we have. Guys, we barely had anything in the server slam session. We had the most basic gear, and yet people were still able to take down the Queens. I'm telling you, this community is something different. 108,000 raiders knocked down by the Queen, and total Arc destroyed 58 million. Yes, sir, you already know this community putting in that work, taking down Arc, as we should. Players knocked down by lightning at 26,000, which is weird. I couldn't get into those. I forget what they called them where the lightning's at. I couldn't get into any of those matches. It always showed the timer, but it wouldn't allow me to actually hop into it. Does anybody know what I was doing wrong? Maybe I had wrong equipment or something was iffy. Who knows? But if anybody could fill me in on why I didn't have access, that would be phenomenal. And then also 816,000 rubber ducks collected, including myself. I think I got about 2 or 3 of those things, so you already know what it is. But seriously, guys, these stats look outstanding, and it's really cool to see that a lot of people enjoyed themselves throughout the server stress test. I know it wasn't as much as the tech test too, but still, I think it gave everybody a good taste of what the game is about, and showed why everybody was addicted to the game in the past, tech test here. The true factor of why people keep on wanting to come back and getting their Arc Raiders fix. But ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive on deep into what Embark went ahead and fixed from the server stress test moving forward into the official launch of the game. And seriously, as I stated before, I just simply can't understand the hate this team gets. Pretty much every single complaint that I've seen people up in arms about when it came to Arc Raiders during the server stress test has been completely resolved right here in these notes. Nobody even gave them the time to put out any answers or any, any posts like this to confirm what is being resolved moving forward. But here we go. First and foremost, they're working on the stability. They said, "You helped us quickly identify and resolve stability issues across all platforms during the test. We have locked in even more solutions leading up to launch day to ensure a smooth launch experience." And I'll be real, the server stress test was very smooth for me personally. As I stated in my previous video about Arc Raiders, it still blows my mind that a game of this quality, with such good animations, sound, graphics, the AI is absolutely absurd. Like, every factor of this game is so high quality. To me personally, AAA quality. You would think that, a game like this nowadays would take 1,000 devs to put together, but this game right here, I think only took around 100, maybe a little bit more. Basically, I think it's a little over 200 devs at Embark, of course. And they're split between two different games, the finals and also Arc Raiders here. And yeah, some devs might help out on different projects here and there, I'm assuming, if they need some extra hands on deck. But more than likely, it was just around 100 plus, 100 to 110 probably. So that is very impressive, that a team like that, especially nowadays, could put out a game of higher quality than these AAA products and then charges $40 for it. That's insane. But next up here, this is one that I was very, very interested with, if I should say, because I didn't want Arc to get nerfed, but there were some situations where, as I stated in my previous videos, I feel like I should have been hidden behind trees, bushes. I'm trying to be stealthy and work my way around the map, but because of the visibility of the Hornets and Wasps, the flying drones, you couldn't go anywhere unless you did like a huge circle, around, because a lot of the area is open terrain with, again, trees and bushes as mobile cover, so you can move bit by bit, piece by piece. But it only worked against players, so if there's Arc, you couldn't, do the same thing as players and just kind of creep your way up. You just had to make a huge circle around and go a different way. But Embark is actually going ahead and tuning this. They said, the flying Arcs, it turns out their awareness was a bit too high, allowing them to essentially see through trees and bushes. This made their vision unintentionally overpowered, but we have adjusted what they can see now, so expect a fair fight at launch. To be honest, I'm going to be real. Part of me didn't mind circling around the Arc because I kind of liked how intimidating they were. They were really a threat in this server test here, man. Like I didn't want to mess around with them at all unless I was confident I could take them on. So I hope they didn't tune it too much where you could just run to a bush a centimeter next to you and instantly they're like, oh, I wonder where this human went, I hope they're still searching around and doing their thing. But I do agree they were kind of overtuned, and I think that allowing bushes and trees to be some cover will be very nice, and it will encourage more fights to take place outdoors, because I feel like a lot of people are just trying to funnel indoors as fast as possible, because if you get caught outside and you start fighting, Arc is just going to be there in a half a second, you know what I'm saying? So, although that's fun, sometimes it became just hard to be able to navigate the outdoors, and people just kind of said, okay, we're going inside, just keep it at that. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Do you think this is a good tune? Do you think it's a bad tune? Overall, I think it'll be interesting to see once it comes to the full launch of the game. Next up here, the Damn Tower. For those who don't know, there's a little bit of a I guess I can call it a bug where you can drop off the roof and get into a key room. They said the Damn Tower. We watched many of you bravely and perhaps a little too easily access the launch tower on Damn Battlegrounds. It was fun to watch, but a bit too accessible for a key loot location. That's been fixed to keep the challenge sharp. I'll be honest, I've been seeing a lot of people mad about this. For me personally, I just don't see how you could possibly be mad. I'm going to be real. It's a key room with, higher quality loot. You shouldn't be able to cheese your way into that room. You should, have to find cards and find the keys to, get access, which is going to be hard. And when you find those keys, you're going to be really excited. It's going to give you that adrenaline rush. If, over half the rooms in this, world can just be pounced on by a rooftop, kind of defeats the purpose. And I know it's probably not. Even if people just say, oh, well, just this one room could be cool, it's going to make it a hot spot. Every single person, whether it's a free run or maybe even a partially kitted run, is going to go right there. Nowhere else on the map. Everything's going to become irrelevant because there is an exploit on one of the key rooms where you can get some decent loot. I think that this is the best decision, and if it ever happens again, they should nerf it like it's nobody else's business. And last but not least here is a very good one. Visual difference. And again, for everybody that's curious, a lot of people online have been saying that, the server stress test here had visual changes, and they were wondering what it is. And again, thank goodness it's Embark here, because they really, actually talk to us and discuss things, and they don't just keep it on the low. But they said they did tweak the visuals to go ahead and help out low-performing rigs, and allow them to get into the game easier. Although, I would say the game, from what everybody else is saying, ran really good in the tech test too, but I still appreciate them for trying to make it run better overall. But the visual differences were kind of meh. It was kind of sad to a lot of players. But they said visual difference. Some noticed a visual difference between Server Slam and earlier tests on certain hardware. The default settings did change a bit to favor more performance, and we're looking into tuning further to strike the right balance. I'm happy that they're still trying to find that balance. I am. Because I think their heart is in the right place, trying to make this game run for as many people as possible. But sometimes doing such will kind of basically ruin others' experience. So I'm hoping that they can strike a middle ground here, still allow players to get good performance, depending on their type of rig, while, upping that visual quality so it still looks absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not saying it didn't look gorgeous, because it still did. Even in the server stress test, in my opinion, the graphics were stunning. Stunning. I'm telling you, graphics plus audio, perfection when it comes to this game. But still, striking the middle ground for everybody to be happy here when it comes to the visuals is a point that I think should be driven home and not ignored. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about all these changes that are coming into the full launch of Arc Raiders. And if you're really excited for this game to drop, or honestly, do you not care at all about Arc Raiders going ahead and dropping? And seriously, if you don't care, try not to, come in with this forced hate that people have for anything that's new coming into the scene. It's so weird. As I stated in the beginning of this video, it's like these devs literally listed and resolved almost all the problems people were complaining about. If you went on Reddit, Twitter, anywhere, and we're looking at what people were complaining about this game, everything, every single thing is on the list I just read off to you guys. They genuinely care about the product. They love this game. They have a passion for this game. And I'm telling you, man, they don't deserve the hate that some people are giving them. If you don't like the game, that's fine. You can say that. You can say what you don't like about it. But to constantly bash these devs and hound these devs and try to tear their game down just makes absolutely no sense to me. Embark, thank you for this outstanding work. And I'm telling you, I am so freaking excited for the official launch of this game. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and the second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, guys are interested, got to link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all next one. Peace out.